All right, everybody, get in here. We have got some serious things to talk about. We've got secret clandestine meetings. We've got money issues to the tune of $15 million loans to bail out the Dems that are in despair. We have pep rallies going on. All the while, there's some polling from Frank Luntz, who says a very concerning quiet part out loud. You're right. Everything's not as it seems, per usual, and that is why we are doing this video. Guys, this one's going to be one I'm going to need you to send out because I've got my little strings all over the internet and we are seeing a whole lot of things that no one is freaking telling you about, and you need to be fully aware. Everything is connected, and make sure you send this one out. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. The YouTube notification system is being a bear right now, so any bit you can do through the emojis, the chats, the comments, all that engagement is massive, and thank you guys for doing that. All right, listen. If the audio and video is working, which it is, excellent, everything is good, we're going to jump right into this, and we're just going to start taking off, okay? This is something that I really want to drive home. And come here for a second. We're going to go big stream while everyone gets in here. Or big screen, rather. Over the last 7 to 9 days, you guys have been under the biggest, I can't even describe, propaganda campaign that I've ever seen. In fact, if you turn on the news or turn on the TV or turn on X or turn on YouTube, in general, you're going to see a significant amount of that content saying how much that everything you care about doesn't matter anymore. The woke agenda is actually what everybody wants. The Democrats are the new hottest item and everyone wants to be a Democrat. There's going to be a blue tsunami in 2026. It's over. You might as well not even vote anymore. Donald Trump is not liked. No one likes him at all, according to the media. And then all of these accounts are saying how much of a moot point it is. He's a lame duck. Except they aren't really telling you the whole frickin' story. And this is where it gets really interesting, because I'll tell you, the schisms that are happening inside the right now need to stop. I've called it out. I've said it has to stop. The people that I'm showing you are in disarray. The team who's going to try to infringe upon your Second Amendment rights, who are going to infringe upon your taxes, well, actually increase your taxes, infringe upon your financial picture, who are going to do open borders, who are going to do all sorts of woke ideology, are still there, whilst our main accounts on the right are going after each other about really stupid differences. Parse that out on your own time. We've got a country to save. Okay, can I get an amen or a chat or something on that topic? Because we got some work to do. All right, let's get into this, people. We have got to dive into everything that is important in our lives, and that is the lies they tell you. Because they always tell you. They'll either lie straight to your face or they will lie through omission. Okay, and that's a lot of this what we're about to talk about. So, let's get it. All right, this one right here. This is a really good example, and this is the opener I've got for you. I'm going to bring some energy. I'm going to bring some light in the darkness, as it were, at least according to my opinions. And I want to hear what you guys think. Let's kick ass. Exactly, Steve Day. We are here to make something happen. We're not here to bitch and moan. All right, listen. Not saying y'all are. I'm just saying in general. Everyone wants to be really pissed off about everything. Just come on, focus on the game. Megan Hayes. Okay, this is an account that's on the left. This person really likes spewing that propaganda for the left. And this is all about Meet the Press, MS Now, their new rebranded thing. Because guess what? Knock, knock. Why do you rebrand? Because no one liked you. That's why they rebranded. But anyway, don't let that get in the way. So here you go. This is what everyone's saying. Donald Trump had his worst week in his entire political career this week. Republicans are panicking all across the country. They know he's a lame duck. Okay, you know what? Before I play this clip, I'm just going to have a little bit of a flashback way back in Wonder Year, or way back in days of old. You remember, I don't know, 18 months ago? You guys were still alive. We were still alive. We were doing this thing on the internet. 18 months ago, Joe Biden was actually a lame duck president. But we can't talk about that because that would undermine the narrative of how important Donald Trump being a lame duck president is. The only problem is he's not a lame duck president. He has the Republican Congress. He has the House and he has the Senate. Yeah, there's issues going on. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's issues that need to be worked out. Fine, cool, great. But a lame duck means you don't have any power in Congress, and that's idiotic. But that's the whole point. They don't want to tell you all the history because you can't remember 18 months ago, according to these people. Anyway, let's get back into this because Joe Biden lived, and his whole administration lived by the auto pen, and they lived in the executive branch through executive fiat. I know I railed against it for 5 years. Well, actually, technically 3 years was well, whatever. You get the idea. All right, anyway, back to this. And guys, the emojis, the chats, the comments, thank you. Let's get it.
Dami came in with the right messaging. He knew he had to get this right. But also, This is one of Trump's worst weeks in office. The Epstein files were voted out, so they have to release the Epstein files. He had Saudi Arabia here where his corruption was on full display. His poll numbers are at a record low for his second term. So this is not just, and he was calling press names all week. So he has not had one good story this week. And so I really think that he knows, speaking to your point, that Mamdani is a winner. He knows that the affordability message is something he needs to work on, and hooking his wagon to Mamdani is really smart for him to do right now.
MSNBC, MS Now on Meet the Press, amazing Republican advice. Hey, Republicans, because affordability is the main thing. By the way, we told you affordability and accountability are going to be the main moves. Hello. It's not that I'm really, really smart. It's just, it's that obvious. Anyway, so they're going after it. You know what? Affordability is so important. Don't listen to the guys on your own team who are saying affordability is so important. Listen to the socialists. Hitch your wagon to the socialists, says MSNBC or MS Now. Yeah, that's going to work. Shut up. Anyway, this is the whole point. He had the worst career of his way. He's a lame duck. He's gone. He's dead. He's gone. Okay. He's going to be in prison. He's never getting prison. He's going to get impeached. He's never going to be president again. He's never going to get a vote. He's toxic to the House. They're never going to take the House again. They're never going to take the Senate again. My God, at a certain point, you just go, shut up. If you guys were getting paid for being wrong, you'd be millionaires. Even though you're millionaires anyway, let's keep going. All right, guys, listen. This is the whole point right here. This is the thing. Everyone on the left wants to talk about how evil and Donald Trump is and how dead and everything that I just said. But they're missing one pretty pivotal point that Frank Luntz seems to have capitalized on. Listen to what Frank Luntz says about how bad Donald Trump's poll numbers are and what that really means. In fact, listen to the actual post that he posted. It's too long. I'll let him say it. I don't want to read it. Let this guy go. Watch this.
And quite frankly, the only weaker party in all of this than Donald Trump are the Democrats themselves. The public looks at them and says they don't have solutions to anything. They know how to point to what's not going right, but they don't know how to solve it. They don't know how to change it. And in the end, the president's numbers are falling. That is a fact. In every national poll, he is weakened in the last 8 weeks, and it's significant. But the one thing that he can take solace in is that the Democrats are even weaker on the issues that matter. I would rather be having the Republican challenge right now because they have the levers of power than the Democratic challenge because they're split and they're all over the place.
That right there, if you hear nothing else in this entire stream, you have to understand what's happening. You have 12 months until the midterms. Everyone is acting like the midterms are tomorrow. I understand people are unhappy. I get it. Affordability is incredibly painful. Buying a house is extremely high. Interest rates are very high. Groceries are bad. I know. I get it. I live the same world you do. But to put it all out here as to say everything is gone, everything is dead, it's not. It's simply not. And the reason that I want to bring that up as just for instance, how many stories have we covered over the last 11 months now that have been world ending, and they change every week and a half? You had the ICE thing, you had the ICE protests, you had all the different reactions to Charlie Kirk getting shot. That faded from the news. You have Epstein 0.1, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7 times going over. You have Donald Trump ending the war in Gaza and Israel. You have the bombing of Iran. I mean, literally all of these things are world ending. And I'm just going to try to be that little ray of sunshine that goes, guys, sometimes you can just try to fix something. And I'm not talking to you guys. I'm just saying in general, right? Everything is not this finality of it's all done, Chicken Little this-ish, right? That's not the way you win. Anyway, let's keep on going. And also, on a side note, you don't go into this whole right-on-right fight, which is stupid. Anyway, let's keep on going. He said something important. Democrats are in a worse place than Donald Trump. They are celebrating all of his worst week ever. Oh my God, it's over. And then meanwhile, Frank Luntz is out here going, yeah, but the Democrats are really good at pointing at what's not happy, in other words, complaining, but they're not good at providing anything, and everyone knows it. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what isn't going to happen. I'm going to tell you the things that I see, and you can tell me what you think in the comments in the chat. And the emojis. But let's continue. Listen. We've got so much to talk about, and I really think that it is a time for cooler heads to prevail, to be quite candid. But anyway, let's keep going. Have you guys noticed something? I'm going to put this right here real quick. I think this is an important piece. Have you noticed that ever since the Epstein files were released, all of a sudden, no one talks about it anymore? Have you noticed that? Because if you'll recall, over the last 2 weeks, a week and a half, again, going back to that time level thing that we deal with, the last week and a half ago, or actually 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, the Democrats tomorrow are going to be signing a deal to get through the shutdown through caving. The Democrat, leftist, liberals get incensed over the entire thing. They spend 2 and 3, 4 days ripping them apart. Chuck Schumer is going to be primaried. He's gone. You don't hear about that anymore. And then it became Epstein. Epstein. And then when Epstein finally got everything, when the Epstein files were passed and the House did it, the Senate did it, and Trump signed it, they don't talk about it anymore because they got their hands caught in a cookie jar. Now it's affordability, it's interest rates, it's inflation, it's polling, it's lame duck, it's Congress. Y'all, it's almost like they have a revolving door of things to keep you occupied while they're hiding all of their stuff, which I'm going to get to in a second. This is the important thing you have to see. Watch. This is what the turning point was. I told you it was a turning point when it happened. This is a turning point. Watch.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Are you at all concerned that the recent allegations against Democrats, such as communicating with a sex offender and embezzling FEMA funds, are going to harm the momentum that your party carried out of the elections earlier this month?
We're going to continue to focus on the issues that matter for the American people. Affordability, lower the high cost of living, health care. We've got to fix our broken health care system, and that begins with renewing the Affordable Care Act tax credits, not allowing Republicans to destroy the Affordable Care Act. And we have to clean up corruption, which we are experiencing in real time. And we've got to deal with in the Congress, in the Supreme Court, and certainly with this administration, which is running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the world. Here's the interesting thing about Donald Trump and the...
What the hell are you talking about? Again, that was the moment that Epstein fell out of the news. If you guys have been watching, it was ad nauseum, full-on PR push, propaganda push. The second that Democrats got their hand caught in a cookie jar, all of a sudden it became about inflation and independence and polling. Isn't it weird how it always shifts? It's almost like there's a machine to it. And here, again, I'm only showing you this stuff because I honestly think that people are missing it. Right here is, let me pull this up real quick. I'm going to tease this real quick. They just had Barack Obama at a secret meeting with Democrats talking to all the freshman House reps saying that how bad it was and how awful it is and how bad it was for them one time when they didn't have power and how hopefully things will get better. Then the next one right here, there's the article from Politico. Here's the cash-strapped DNC takes a $15 million in loan because they can't meet their overhead. Y'all, you are being propagandized. Okay, that's just coming up in a second. All right, let's keep on going. Again, I spend a lot of time putting all these things together, and I really hope you guys appreciate it because it genuinely matters. Okay, now let's go to this next one. This is another piece of the whole Epstein thing going poof, magic Houdini, all right? So CNN absolutely just rakes Chris Murphy over the coals on this one. He's like, it turns out that 89 to 90% of your Democrat cohorts are in the Epstein files. And did you hear what he said? Remember what he said? Watch. Again, this is literally the moment he disappeared and it didn't matter anymore. Watch.
You mentioned the investigations into Democrats who had been named in the files that were released by the Epstein estate. One of the things the president did say, and again, he signed it overnight, no signing ceremony, no TV cameras, no nothing, but he did put out a Truth Social release where he noted that Democrats have been mentioned, again, in what has been released so far. What if there are more names connected to the Democratic Party that come out as a result of this?
So what?
My... Poofed. And so what? You know, I find it so fascinating. Come here. I find it so fascinating that it will be the world-ending event for 5, 6, 7 days on every single network, every single X account, every single leftist page shill account, every single one of them. You know, the ones that get exposed to being like from Canada and like Nigeria and all of them. You know, I find it fascinating. That's 24/7 nonstop, just like the Kamala Harris campaign, which is going to make an appearance later in this live stream. Just wait a second. Just like that, They are putting full bore because they have to have a win. They have to have something. And when the Democrats got caught with more hands in the cookie jar in the Epstein files than the Republicans did, all of a sudden it didn't matter anymore. That big moral high ground, ethical high ground that was everything that was the center of the universe disappeared. And they don't talk about it anymore. Weird, huh? You had 5 days of Epstein after 4 days of shutdown propaganda, and now you're going into some stuff we're about to talk about, but they aren't telling you everything else. Watch, I'm going to keep on doing this because, guys, you are being lied to, and that really pisses me off. I'll be candid. When they just lie to you to manipulate you, and the right is too distracted with its own little squabbles to call it out. Anyway, let's keep on going. Looking at you, other right-wing influencers that are much bigger than me and have a higher responsibility. All right, here we go. This is, what's this guy's name? Scott Jennings. Now, Scott Jennings, one of the PBD podcast, and he said something very interesting. This is the resetting of the narrative that I was just telling you about, okay? Again, we got a couple more clips. We're building into the end of this narrative, which is really important, all right? All right, guys, listen, chats, emojis, comments. Let's go. Come on, we got this. Let's do it. Scott Jennings, take it away.
She's the smartest person they could find. So they sent her to do this. And the reason is this, because they are desperate to make this a story about Trump and Epstein. And the only thing we found out in the last week is that it's a story about Democrats and Epstein.
Correct.
You got Larry Summers asking for dating advice from Epstein. You got Hakeem Jeffries
While
trying
married.
to raise money from Epstein. You got Plaskett being programmed by Epstein. They lost the narrative, so they sent out their smartest person, Jasmine Crockett, to try to reset the narrative, and it blew up in their face. They may regret going down this road.
By the way,
she's a smart.
All right, y'all. I mean, it's literally exactly what happened. And the reason that I cover this stuff and the reason that this is so important is because it directly affects everything that we care about. We can always zoom back in micro. We can always go into individual issues and micro issues and things like polling, things like topics, all these pieces. And we always will. But when you look at everything that's going on in macro, that's where you can tell what's going to happen micro. And I say it all the time. That's why I do these things. Okay? Let's keep on going because, again, this is all very important. Because now, here comes one of the new shiny little objects. I showed you something like this last night. This one was Harry Enton from today with inflation. Yesterday was independence. Y'all, it is literally a full court press to convince you that everything is over and no one cares about anything on conservative, MAGA, right wing, whatever. It's a full-on propaganda push. Because the person that decides all this stuff is not these people, it's you. And you guys aren't done. I know you're not done. But anyway, let's keep on going. Watch, this is the inflation touch.
With inflation, it's the cost of living, baby. That is the name of the game. You go back to January, he was 3 points above water. This was the reason why that voters gave him a second term. You look at this. Now, 34 points underwater. My goodness gracious, that is a 37-point move in the wrong direction.
All right.
With inflation, it's the cost of.
All right. This is a really important part, and I got two super chats I'm going to catch up with. Hold on 1 second. Here's the thing, and you have to understand this, and they do not tell you this because it doesn't help them to tell you this. In January of Donald Trump's first year in his term, that was January. He was not even in office at the time of this baseline reading of +3. Do you know what that +3 rating is? It is the hopes and the intent and the belief of the population. It is not based on their experience with Donald Trump. It's based on the hope. -34 is left over from the affordability issues that are consistently happening and have not been remedied yet. That is not a reflection of Donald Trump has done this evil thing. That is a reflection of the expectations of the population in January before he was president. Then you're talking about now where prices still have not come down yet. I get it, but it's a little bit different than he was doing so great and everyone loved all of his actions when he wasn't president, but now that he is, it's a little different. But that's the whole point. It's all about building a narrative. Now I'm going to keep on going. Make sure you hit those emojis, chats, comments, because this, again, I showed you this last night. I'm going to keep on doing things like this because this is how you win. This is how you set a vision. This is how you set a goal, okay? Conservative accounts, MAGA accounts, I don't care what you call yourself accounts, right-oriented accounts. I don't care. You gotta start looking at this and providing with this what this is. This is a pivot change. This is the moment that you guys are all looking for when you're all bitching with each other about the different things that one's dead, one's not dead, one sucks, one's great. This is what you're looking for. Watch, I'm gonna keep on playing it. You guys send this out to these any creator you can think that, I don't know, just send it out. Like, I just think this is important.
The Republican coalition in the 1990s was more upscale. They showed up in midterms. So Republicans tended to do a little bit better in midterm elections in the 1990s than, say, Republicans do today. And that's because while these working class voters are great, there are also people who don't necessarily show up to vote in the midterms all the time. We've got to motivate them. We've got to get them out to vote. I think it's one of the lessons that we learned in Virginia and New Jersey is that when Donald Trump is not on the ballot, you've got to give people something to actually believe in, something to...
Okay. I hit this in my short this morning. This is an incredibly important moment, and everyone on the influence internet conservative side is missing it because they're squabbling. Honest to God, that's what's happening. Because this was a setting of a narrative and setting of a direction where you're literally addressing the very issues that when Donald Trump is not on the ballot, like in New Jersey and Virginia, which I'm going to show you more stuff in a second on the funding of what just happened with that magic $15 million loan from the DNC. All of this stuff is we're going in order. We're getting there. But this is the counter to the issues that everyone's complaining about on our side, but they aren't paying attention to what J.D. Vance just said. I'm just saying, you're already in a second term of Trump. You're looking at midterms, and then you're looking at 2028. That's the way this works. And J.D. Vance is calling out something that's incredibly important. And tell me how many of you resonate with this concept. You will get up off your couch and you will go out and you will walk in the rain and you'll walk in the sunshine and you will do something if you have a belief and a why into something bigger than yourselves. But if you're just sitting there because I have an R behind my name and that's why you're going to vote for me, you will not win. You will not get votes. You just simply won't. You guys tell me if I'm over the mark or not. All right, let's keep on going because this is where it gets real fun. This is the entire point. Oh, I see planes. I got 100%. I see rocket ships. Excellent. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, so this one was the fun one. This is all about the secret meeting. And guys, if you were getting in here, you're just in time to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and every chat, emoji, and comment that you leave literally makes Obama stub his toe. That'll make the rules. I just report them. All right, let's keep on going. Scoop. Barack Obama huddled with nearly 36 freshman House Democrats at the Capitol Hill home of Representative Rosa DeLauro. You know, the one who's so skibbity and she's like 80 years old with the purple short haircut. And yeah, that one. At Wednesday night event hosted by the former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, well, everybody's there. Wow, must be something important. His goal, a person close to the former president said, is to build a sustainable Democratic Party that can survive without him. Someone want to tell him he hadn't been in it for like 2 weeks, or like 2 years, like 2 decades. Anyway, let's keep on going. It's actually a decade to be fair. I want to show you this though. This is God in heaven. Guys, they made buttons. They actually made buttons and stickers. This is manna from heaven. Oh, I got some super chats. Hold on a second. I got to get to those. I do not want to leave you out. David Hughes with a $9.99 says, Jasmine Crockett is the smartest. We don't have anything to worry about. You do have something to worry about. It's apathy. I'm just saying, it's true. I think I had another one. Let me verify. Yep. Super chat with David Savage says for $5, Braden is a ray of sunshine with a smiley emoji. Why, thank you, David. I appreciate both of you for the support of the channel. All right, let's get it. Kevin Nibbler says Anna Paulina Luna with 2 fire emojis. I don't know what that means. I guess, but I think it means she's good at her job. Anyway, let's keep on going. Listen to this. Our most important battle, Obama privately urges freshman Dems to fight cynicism. Wait a minute. This is the part where we're going to turn that sarcasm up to about a 5. Why would the Democrats, who have everything going for them, and Trump has everything going against him, he's a lame duck. I know you guys heard that in the earlier show. How could the Democrats, 30 of them, which is more than 10% of the conference, how could they have cynicism if everything is going their way? How is that possible? Because there's no reason to be cynical if you're dominating face, right? This is kind of like when Donald Trump won the White House and the Republicans won the White House and the House and the Senate. And then we made buttons that said, don't be cynical after we won. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? It's almost like they know something that they aren't telling you, which I'm about to show you right now. All right, let's get into this. Okay, listen. I showed you earlier in a video that they just took out a $15 million loan to boost their outcomes in Virginia and New Jersey. They went in debt to try to win. Okay, your choice. Let's keep on going. There's some good stuff in here I've highlighted. As you can see, this came out on 11/20. Remember that date, 11/20. Former President Barack Obama is embracing his role as mentor-in-chief, huddling with nearly 36 freshman House Democrats at the Capitol Hill of that person I already told you with Nancy Pelosi there. You know, it's interesting. The event saw Obama buck up Democrats and offer insights on surviving Republican majorities. Again, I find it odd that you would have to buck up somebody who's kicking the crap out of Donald Trump and the Republicans. Don't you? I don't know. Maybe it's just something. I don't know. Wait till you get the stickers. Here you go. Quote, I get feeling discouraged sometimes. Again, that doesn't make sense. They're winning, right? Wink, nod. Obama told the room over soda water, crackers, and crudite. According to excerpts provided by his office to Politico, I get feeling worn out, tired, and embattled. But in our second term, Dennis McDonough, my chief of staff used to pass out stickers based on a conversation that he and I had that talked about we do not succumb to cynicism. Cynicism is our enemy, and it's pervasive in this town. They made stickers? They made stickers about cynicism, which means being a cynic, which there's a whole helping dosing of that on the internet right now. And Obama is telling Democrats in the House, the freshmen, to buck up. Sometimes you lose. And they need a pep rally and tell stories about stickers they had printed about fighting cynicism because they couldn't succumb to cynicism. Again, are you seeing what is not matching the propaganda? They are literally bucking their systems up because they're getting their face stepped in. But you wouldn't believe that from the propaganda that you're seeing right now. Let's keep on going. Oh, goodness gracious. Fight cynicism. He added that McDonough had stickers printed that read, fight cynicism. And that, I think, is our most important battle, right? We don't give in to that. And we're going to be able, and then we're going to be able to figure out the same stuff. Guys, this is not a speech that you give somebody who's winning. This is a speech you give someone who literally, they don't have any identity. They don't have any idea of what's happening. They're getting their faces beat in. Anyway, if we could only get out our own ways, we'd be in great shape. Obama emphasized to attendees that he had been in your shoes because when I was, everybody remembers the Democratic National Convention in 2004 when you were, well, all in elementary school. Obama. I could just see him there with his sleeves like 3/4. But what people don't recall is that John Kerry lost that election, Obama said, and we didn't control the House and we did not control the Senate. And Tom Daschle, who was then the Democratic leader of the Senate, lost, which is unheard of. And Karl Rove, who was the chief architect of George Bush's campaigns and political career, could be found on all TV stations talking about the permanent Republican majority that had been created. And this is important. Right here, I'll come back to that. This is why I saved this little excerpt from this article. The former president continued, describing a similar sense of despair in 2004 that Democrats felt after 2024 when Donald Trump swept all 7 battleground states. A similar sense of despair at a pep rally for Democrats while the media is telling you full-throated that they're winning. Isn't that weird? Aren't these weird actions to be taking while you're winning? Right, like, I don't know. I find it very odd that you would have Obama come out and have to do pep rallies and say there's a similar sense of despair and we made stickers that said fight cynicism and we're in a similar situation right now, but you go on the news, you go on social media, and you go on any Democrat talking point, all of a sudden it's they're winning big. I mean, like, sometimes you just have to call BS for what it is. It's clear that's not what's happening. But now, let's keep on going. I don't like being lied to. I don't like you guys being lied to. I'll be candid with you. And this is the whole point. This is where it boils down to. We have brought you through this entire video, like Hansel and Gretel through the woods to the witch's house. There's the witch at DNC. This is the whole point of this video, because this is it. This is what they're doing. I'm telling you, you're getting it right now, and I'm going to show it to you and prove it to you. All right. Cash-strapped DNC takes on $15 million in loans. I touched on this earlier in a video I did about 2 hours ago. A major political committee taking out this large of a loan so far removed from a major election is unusual. Again, it's all about the breadcrumbs, okay? If you're taking $15 million out to support your elections in 2 blue states, and then you've also got your number one ace in the hole president, mentor-in-chief, as they call him Politico, giving pep rallies saying how bad it is and how similar it is to the words like despair, and printing stickers like fighting cynicism, and all of this, and you're going to tell me that it's over, Donald Trump is over, Republicans are over, we've lost, MAGA's over, everyone that cares about the country is over. It just doesn't align. And all it takes is 2 eyes. All right, let's keep on going. Remember that date I told you on this one? This is so great. God, I love when this stuff ties together. Look, 11/20 for Obama, and look at this cash video, or this cash article right here. 11/20. Y'all, the same day that that Barack Obama is giving a pep rally to the Democrats, they are taking out $15 million loans to support reporting is coming out, they're taking out $50 million loans to support elections because they don't have the money and they're not getting fundraising because no one's donating to it. Does it make sense now why the shutdown was such a big thing for them? You don't know? Okay, watch. I'm going to keep on going. Guys, I'm just trying to leave these breadcrumbs everywhere. You can watch the video from 3 hours ago if you want to see all the details of this, but I want to show you something really important right here. Here we go. The DNC also spent $16.9 million in October, the most it had spent in any single month this year. Driving that total was election-related spending. The National Party spent over $6 million in New Jersey and Virginia to boost Democratic gubernatorial candidates. So they spent money they didn't have in order to boost elections in blue states, Virginia and New Jersey, because they needed wins to prove they could beat the Republicans. So they took out $15 million in loans to do it. Because they don't have any cash, because Cupcake Kamala burned it all. All right, let's keep on going. I'm telling you guys that I'm really seeing it. I got more though. All right, here we go. The DNC has not reported more than $15 million in debt total since February of 2014. So coming on over 10 years, they haven't had that much debt. And look right here. But the National Party has faced slower fundraising this year as many major donors have stayed on the sidelines amid the DNC's rebuilding efforts. The party's fundraising members have improved slightly in recent months, and it raised $7.5 million from donors in October, not far off from the same month in 2021. Hey guys, what was happening in October? I can tell you what was happening in October. The shutdown was happening in October. They used the shutdown to damage Donald Trump and to fundraise from their constituents. They raised $7.5 million, and they managed to burn all of it in the gubernatorial races for Virginia and New Jersey. The same money they built on shutting down the government from their fundraisers, they spent in blue states to try to win them because they were concerned they weren't. Y'all, okay, all right, maybe I'm just not making it clear. Yeah, maybe I can drive this home a little further. Kamala Harris literally broke the DNC. They don't have any money. So in politics, and this is an important piece, and I'm going to walk you through this entire thing real quick. In politics, there's 2 forms of currency. There's money, and there's politics, political capital. If you don't have the political capital, which the Democrats do not have, then you better damn well have money. Guess what? They don't have money either. The Republicans have $86 million in the Republican National Convention right now. In the RNC, they have $86 million. The Democrats just went in debt $15 million to be competitive in blue states. You have all the talking points have now shifted away from what they were talking about 10 seconds ago. It's like a 4-day cycle of moving talking points. No one talks about Epstein anymore magically. And all of a sudden, they aren't telling you at all about the media, about $15 million debts and Obama giving a pep rally to Democrats. Y'all, I'm telling you, all of these things are piecing together. Then you've got, what's his name? Luntz. Frank Luntz comes out and says, yeah, Trump's numbers are declining, but the Democrats are despised and no one has any idea what they stand for and everyone doesn't like them and it'd be a much better place to be in Republican shoes. But they won't tell you this stuff. here's the thing that's really important. I got a super chat I got to hit real quick because you have to understand this. Ruby Who for $5 says, it's amazing how Dems accuse Trump of doing things, and it turns out Dems are doing what they accuse Trump and company of doing. Yeah, it's called projection. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. Over the next 12 months, this is the final 12 months. And I'll be real candid with you. The Democrats, if they lose in the House, they will be defeated. They won't have money. They won't have reinvestment of funds. This is the ball game. They're going to blitz. They're going to make a play for the touchdown. They have to do it. If they don't, they are in deep crap. Which is why you are seeing all of the insane amounts of propaganda, and it's only going to get worse. You are going to be force-fed propaganda through a funnel. They are going to make fun of you. They are going to mock you. They're going to tell you all these things are horrible. They're going to tell you all these things, and then they're completely obscure all these other facts, which is why I try to bring this stuff to you guys. Because this is where the meat is. They're showing you all the flashy stuff to make you be discouraged and despair. You're not gonna, but you have to understand that's what they're going to do to you. They are actively and intentionally going to gaslight you and propagandize you over the next 11 months about how evil and bad everything is to push the House into blue territory. And then they're going to spend 2 years impeaching him and then use those impeachment efforts to try to elect Gavin Newsom in 2028. That's the plan. And if it's not Gavin Newsom, it's going to be Kamala Harris. It's one of those two or a combination of both. But genuinely, you're about to be propagandized with a funnel. But we're going to be here to walk you through the entire thing. And I hope I've landed this plane, guys. Listen, a lot is going on. I just keep your head on a swivel. Stay focused. Make sure that notification was on. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Oh my gosh. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Share the videos. And by all means, let me know if I'm landing this plane because we're going into some different territory that's a little bumpy. It looks a little bit of rough air sometimes. So that's okay. That's where all the growth is. But listen, I love each and every one of you. Just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. I will see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. See you.